Keep in mind, the gaps between these tiers, I think, shrunk pretty substantially because of this patch. Do we do an early impressions tier list on how the buffs change people? Have you even seen half the characters yet? Well, that's kind of the fun of it, Foam. It's just speculation. Part of the fun is just pure speculation, and we'll see how it pans out. It's not meant to be, like, actually accurate. So, where would I even start? Let me bring up my other tier list just for comparison sakes. And I'll also bring up the patch notes so that it makes it easy to kind of go over who's changed and why. Okay, this would be my initial tier list. Early impressions, Leonardo probably barely changed. I don't think Lucy changes much because I still think Lucy is crazy. It's just that everyone got slightly worse. I think Lucy probably gets slightly worse, but not much. And by virtue of everyone else also getting worse, it shouldn't matter too much. I'm assuming the DI also affect Leo's combos, but I'm not 100% sure. SpongeBob probably gets better by virtue of everyone else getting worse. If I had to take a guess, I think it gets better by virtue of everyone else being worse. CatDog, probably the same. Probably the same. April had no changes. I'd assume that she's about the same. I'm probably going to move Nigel down to B tier, as a lot of these people move out of A tier. Or maybe I'll keep Nigel in A tier, but A tier is like not as broken as it used to be. Core no longer trashed. She's still going to be trashed because she's worse, because she's slow. I think being slow is just really bad in this game. I think inherently any slow characters are going to struggle a little bit more. Well, Reptar is different because Reptar has like crazy hard-hitting nonsense. So, and I don't think he gets super affected by DI, and he's a little better because not only does he live extremely long, but he also is going to be harder to kill now with DI. So I would assume Reptar is actually going to be not bad. So what got fixed from that? So Aang is definitely slightly worse because of the Nair and the DI, but I still don't think he's going to be bad. I still think he's going to be top tier. I don't think this is enough. Toph got strictly nerfed. Korra fixed down special and variable and lag. I don't exactly know how that is going to affect her gameplay because I don't know how much down special really affected it in the first place. Is there like some kind of consistent setup off of down special I didn't know about? Because otherwise I don't think it matters. This is a slight nerf plus DI, but she still has other throw setups, and all it means is she can't get a cheese kill at 10, which means she's not like S tier, triple S tier at this point. Michelangelo obviously got hard nerfed, thank the fucking Lord. Ren and Stimpy, slight nerf. This is obviously the biggest buff of the patch. Powder Show Spin is now quadruple S tier. Zim is just works like expected now, which is, I guess, a buff because it was definitely not working like expected before. Helga, fixed down special taking damage. Not a massive buff, barely if it matters. This, slight nerf, I guess. Again, doesn't really matter, though. Fixed Ariel, this is a massive nerf. And boy, was it needed. Oblina, not garbage, but probably falling down to low A or high B tier. Wait, what move is +9 on block? Is that true? Is that actually +9? So if you hit someone's guard, you just straight up win that interaction? Like, you get a free grab if you hit that? How long is the startup on it? That's great, but if it's super slow startup, then it doesn't really matter. What's the one we're talking about? This one? This one's +9 block? Right. Are you talking about this move? So, okay, so let's do this one then. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so it's pretty reactable. The question is, does she have anything else that looks like it? So she starts with this like weird crouching animation. Let me see if there's anything else that looks like it. Because if there's an actual mix-up on it. Okay, that doesn't look like it. That doesn't look like it. That doesn't look like it. That kind of looks like it. The question is, would someone realistically be able to react to the difference between this, which would be you dropping block, and that? Well, the thing is, this also stops midair, right? And so I would argue that this might be hard enough to react to differently, because this would be a really strong mix-up, right? Like, you don't want to get hit by that. So that'd be a pretty decent mix-up. It's probably still reactable, but it's not as easy as I would think. Because there's a move that you have that seems like it could be a decent mix-up with it. So it's probably not great, but I would say that definitely creates a buff, if that's +9 on block. For those of you who don't know, +9 on block means that once you are actionable, you have 9 frames before the opponent is actionable. So if you hit if they block that, you are actionable 9 frames before that they are out of end lag. And so if you can get a grab within 9 frames, which yes, you can, you just get a grab for free every time it hits block. Yeah, and it's also like a mix-up where it's like if someone's expecting something else and it suddenly changed trajectory, that's definitely a buff. So Core definitely got buffed. I would argue Core is almost certainly better than these two. Especially because I think there's some combo shit that we just don't know with her yet. But I see her as overall having better tools than these two characters so far. Toph feels like kind of a shitty zoner still. Like, I'm sure she has some stuff, but I think that in general in this game, if you don't have a lot of like mobility and your entire playstyle is centered around just zoning and things of that sort, you're probably not going to have a great time. Because you think about how fast like Aang is, how fast Oblina is, Lucy, SpongeBob, CatDog, how quick he can get in, right? That's going to be a really... Danny Phantom, that's going to be a really hard time for you to deal with. Plus, you have to deal with disjoint still. Like, Leonardo doesn't even have to get in because he just needs to space well enough to get a spare afterwards because there's no ASD down and teching. Same with Michelangelo. So, I don't see that. Ranged characters aren't the issue. Slow zoners are going to have a miserable time in this game. So, I don't see Toph being very good. Similarly, I think Patrick's still just way too slow. I don't think he had really any buffs except for the command grab change, right? So I don't see Patrick having any serious, like, any serious gain in this. I still think he's going to be, like, pretty fucking bad overall. Was made it worse offensively? Yeah, and she's worse offensively because now you can de-out of combos even better. It's ridiculous. His command grab didn't work, but I still have all the same qualms. He's still really slow. He still doesn't have combo potential like the rest of the cast. DI is going to make it so that his stuff links even less. We'll see. I don't think that he's going to be particularly excellent. I still don't think I'll have anyone else in this tier. I will say, I think the secret, like, worst impacted character that didn't get directly nerfed is probably Lincoln. Because from what I know, he really only had that stupid fair string. And if DI is a thing, I don't know how Lincoln's going to build even percent at this point. I actually don't. I'm sure there might be a Lincoln-made chat could tell me that there's some way to build percent now. But I don't think Lincoln is going to be having much in this patch. I don't know if he'll be bad as these characters. I don't know about the character yet. But my guess is DI is going to actually shit on this character super hard. Super, super, super hard. Similarly, I do think Helga is going to be really bad. She's slow. Or only, like, quote-unquote saving grace in neutral is completely offset by the fact that you can catch it and throw it back at her. Or just throw it away and ignore it entirely. So that's just going to be a problem going forward. And again, slow characters are not going to function very well in this game. Yeah, Lincoln already had bad combos with low damage. I don't see how he's going to do anything. He's going to need probably a major buff. Lincoln could, like, actually go down to here based on what limited stuff I know about the character. So I think Lincoln's going to be trash in this. Power Toast Man has barely changed. I don't think he's going to get any better. I don't think he's going to get any worse. I have him still around here. I don't think that he's going to get any better. And my guess is with a lot of DI stuff, a lot of his cheese, like, super early kills don't work anymore. Yes, he got way worse. I think these characters are also just worse than anyways. Like, he may be Helga's better. I don't know. But these characters are not great. Reptar's top of C tier now for me. Maybe even current meta bottom of B tier. The thing being, the fact that he now can DI out of combos, and the fact that he lives forever, and how ridiculous, like, his tech chase down B shit is. If you hit it once, it's just 30%. If you hit it twice, it's half a stock, if not more. Is really, really good for him. His recovery's still trash. He's still not great. I think he got marginally buffed because he's going to be slightly harder to kill. But I still think he's a super gimmicky early game character. I don't think he's going to be particularly amazing. His cheese stays untouched, but it's cheese. It doesn't mean that, like, I don't put a character up because he has some cheese options that if you're not ready for or if you don't know how to deal with, you can do better. That's not how I do a tier list. When I do a tier list, I look at how good the character is. Fourth place SmashCon. Yeah, he might have gotten fourth place SmashCon, but guess what? When a game comes out, they always have a character that gets way worse over time. Reptar is just that character for this game. Every game has a cheese character that is great at the beginning and gets worse and worse and worse over time. Maybe he's bottom of B tier. I still think he's a cheese character. Is he better than these characters for now? Maybe. I could put like if it makes you feel better, like if I had to put him anywhere, it'd be like here. I wouldn't put him in B tier, but I do think he's slightly better than these characters. That's supposed to be CatDog, though. CatDog has some shit still. I don't think CatDog's top of, like, A tier, but I think CatDog has some shit. I would put this, like, C+/B- cheese tier. Like, I think he's just a cheesy character. So, we'll see from there. I don't really know, but I don't see him being anywhere past tier. Ren and Stimpy did get nerfed. Where did I have Ren and Stimpy before? I had them bottom of B. That probably still somewhat holds. But they did get nerfed pretty hard. The log, no longer having an infinite log kind of sucks. And having the special knockback, base knockback decreasing is definitely going to hurt. Do I think it's enough to move them out of B tier? Do I think they're worse than Reptar? No, I don't. Probably still bottom of B tier. But keep in mind, most characters did get worse. Keep in mind, almost every character got worse. So, like, this B tier is going to be weaker, in my opinion, than this B tier was. Right? If that makes any sense. That's my hard read. I wish Toph was good. Yet, I mean, again, look how fast the game is. Any slow zoner is just not going to be good. I think that's just the nature of this game. If you are a slow zoner, unless you have the most degenerately large hitboxes or you have just, like, super armor, even super armor, that's not even the problem. It's the fact that people can whiff punish. Like with air dashing. Air dashing makes whiff punish so brain dead easy, right? And so that's just going to make it really, really hard for a slow zoner to do well. Early on, you'll see some results, I think, but as the game progresses and people get better, I think it's going to be harder and harder. Like, I could definitely lose to a Toph right now, especially if they just happen to have some good setups or were really good. But as the game progresses, you're going to see less and less success from that type of style. That's just the way it goes. Like, think about any platform fighter. Give me one slow zoner that's ever done well after, like, the game's super progression. Unless they were ultra cheese. Zim gets a slight buff. I think that, like, Zim, you could argue, is also a zoner, but he has a bunch of projectiles and is fast, right? He has a fast nair. He has a bunch of really obnoxiously good projectiles to deal with. I would say that Zim is an archetype of that character that works a lot better than Toph. I think Zim's probably going to wind up being around here. If I had to guess. Not 100% sure, but that's my impression. Sandy also not really changed much. I think that Sandy's probably worse than I initially thought. I think that the character's like pretty heavy on cheese. Maybe could even be like down here, honestly. I think the forwarder is like ultra omega cheese. I don't really think that she's a great character. I would probably put her down here. I think these two characters have like decent cheese, but they're kind of not great. Cora's probably top of C tier. I don't think that she's amazing yet. I could be completely wrong. I think the down special definitely has some potential, but it's still doesn't seem like a particularly great character. They've got big buff. Yeah, I think she got buffed, but I don't think she's amazing still. Keep in mind, the gaps between these tiers, I think, shrunk pretty substantially because of this patch. I think that the nature of having DI implementations and making things work the way they're supposed to makes it so that the top tiers who are broken because of how they function. Now that they function more properly, even though they're still top tiers, they're going to be a lot less egregiously oppressive. And so the alignment's going to be a lot more equal now. So I think the gaps probably shrunk like a decent amount. Better play tends to win now. I agree. I think that it's a lot easier for the better play to like consistently win now than it was before. Danny, I don't know yet, man. I feel like Danny low-key has some crazy potential. I think Danny's going to be A tier. This is my like gut pick. Something tells me that Danny's cracked. There's just too many movement options. There's too many good, like, disjointed hitboxes. There's something about this character that screams to me he's cracked. This is my soul read. I don't think he's, like, worse than these characters. That's for damn sure. And I look at these characters, and I look at the movement. I don't know. This is my soul read. This is my genuine soul read. There's something about this character that's cracked. You can disagree. I don't really care. If I think where he is right now, he's definitely in B tier. I think that he's going to wind up being an A tier. Also, most of you know that if you do the up air, you get like infinite. Hold on. His up air's recovery sucks. What are any of you talking about? Do you know about this? For people saying his recovery sucks, what are you smoking? Like, if I do this, look how far horizontally I can go. Look how far horizontally you go if you do the strong up air. How does he have a bad recovery? His up B is bad, but he doesn't have a bad recovery. Does Jigglypuff have shit recovery in melee because she doesn't have a good up B? No. Like, what? Yeah, if you have to use up B, you're doing it wrong. Between his air dash and his aerial, and also his aerial drift is crazy. I am pretty positive that he's going to be really good at some point. I do think Nigel's B tier. Maybe bottom of A, but I think the DI change probably fucks Nigel just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. His flick literally not killing until like 80 or 100 is kind of absurd. And the fact that DI change like affects his ability to flick, like I might even think Zim's better. I'm not 100% sure on this, but Zim might even be better. I genuinely don't know. Comes something that might be controversial. I gotta think about this a little bit more before I do it. I think Oblina got a lot worse. I think Oblina's still really good. Because I never wear hats, MQ. I think Oblina might be top of B tier. The reason being, 3 frames active down air, she can no longer mash out of combos. The edge guarding becomes significantly harder to do because you can't just like beat everyone's hitboxes by spamming over and over again, which is kind of why her edge guarding was so insane in the first place. Because she still, the reason she's not lower, she still has a good projectile, she still has a good punish game, but I feel like she's honestly pretty similar to Zim, like in how they function. I still think Oblina's good, but she's not the fucking crazy S tier she was before. Still good, but those nerfs hurt her a lot. And IMO, rightfully so. The character was fucking stupid. Maybe they didn't need to hit her that hard, but I think the Dare nerf would have been fine by itself. That plus a DI, that's rough. Might be time for Oblinas who just wanted to play broken characters, Albert, to find a new character. If you just liked it because of the way she functions, she still functions pretty similarly, so I think it's fine. A tier, I'd say April is still pretty clearly A tier. Not really any changes. I think she gets better by virtue of other characters getting worse, but not much beyond that. Sandy is cheese. She's not actually like cheese tier. I had that initially for just Reptar, but it's like they have like 2 or 3 really good tools that I think are going to get worse as people get better. That's kind of what I mean by that. Cat probably B tier now. No, I don't think he's not worse than like Danny. I don't think so. I do think he's probably worse than April at this point because of the DI nerf, which makes it that you can't even get string up airs to begin with at this point. But I think more than anything else, he's just a very imbalanced character and like needs to be retooled. I think just the way he functions is very janky. Cat still isn't great. And I think the frame data and hitboxes need a little bit of adjustment. I don't think he's bad by any means. I definitely don't think he's worse than these characters. But he's not going to be up here. And I think he's like up here for the wrong reasons. He's a good character for the wrong reasons. It feels very degenerate. Yeah, exactly. He's feast or famine. And when it works, he's the best character in the game. If you are able to read your opponent, Cat Dog's literally the best character in the game. But if you're just getting stray hits over and over again, you can't get a read on someone, he falls literally down to like cheese tier, basically. So S tier, I think, is a little weird. So I do think SpongeBob, by virtue of everyone else getting worse, is now an S tier. I've seen enough early kill setups and a pretty good projectile for me to believe that the character is really fucking cracked at this point. I think that if you have combos and kill options, you're probably going to wind up having SpongeBob in S tier. And all of these characters, save for Michelangelo, have that at this point. I would probably, if there's like an extra tier here, like A+/S-, I'd probably put SpongeBob down there. I don't think he's broken though. Like, I would never be like, oh, Mango beat me because he used SpongeBob and I only used Cat Dog. I'd just be like, yeah, like Cat Dog's or SpongeBob's a good character. He's like, yeah, exactly. He's like if Mario was just somehow really good, like had kill setups and had like slightly better like normals. I think SpongeBob's like a very well-designed top tier character. If you're gonna have a character be an S tier, I think it's like a perfect design. I actually really like it. I think he's a very well... I didn't... Like, nothing when I played you felt degenerate. It was just like, okay, the character's good, but, like, you have to be good with him. You have to hit your shit. You have to know your links. You have to know your kill setups, and you have to execute them. And it's, like, not super brain dead. And you still die early, right? So you're still kind of a glass cannon. No, I like the way SpongeBob's designed. I think SpongeBob... Unironically, if you played Oblina before, you should probably play SpongeBob now if you just want to play a better character. I think he functions pretty similar to Oblina, but just not as degenerate as Oblina used to be. And it's honestly a little more fun. I think Lucy is probably still up here. I've seen a lot of good stuff from Lucy. Again, not degenerate in any way. I don't think Lucy's degenerate. I just think she's very, very strong. I'm not sure if her SpongeBob's better. SpongeBob might be better. She might be better. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Lucy, but I think she has a lot of very interesting tools that work pretty harmoniously. And my guess is she will probably stay up here for a while, sans some crazy nerf coming in. I don't see... Yeah, and she has kill setups off grabs. The coffin is still very, very strong. It just doesn't actually kill at 20 anymore, which is, again, the way the game should be designed. Recovery seems pretty good. Bite still. The bite stuff on spawn is so cheese. I hate that shit. But good character. Very solid character. Again, not degenerate, but solid character. Leo is still going to be S tier. It's just the nature of a fast sword-based character. They're going to be crazy. Even with the DI nerfs, I don't see Leo falling very far. I could be wrong. Maybe Leo's down here. Maybe Leo's down here. I don't see Leo being any worse than S tier personally, though, right now. I still think that the range is going to be crazy. It's going to be heavy. He's not going to die very easily. He has no landing lag on his up B whatsoever. Just a lot of the same reasons Marth's good with less end lag. So a lot of the reasons in Melee Marth isn't super broken is because most of his stuff is committal. So when I am Marth, if I throw out a nair, or sorry, if I throw out a fair, but Fox runs in and nairs me at any point, or Falcon does like instant up air, I die for it, right? Because it's laggy. Leo doesn't have that issue. Leo is able to throw the moves out and they come out fast and they end fast. And so I would argue he's actually just better strictly than Marth is for that reason. And he still has some crazy combo potential. His recovery is ass though. He's not ass. If you recover from far off stage, you have crazy drift on it and you have 0 end lag. It's just not the most broken recovery in the game. I think of an ass recovery, I think of like Powdered Toast Man. I think of Reptar, right? Where it's so easy to kill them. And I think it's better than Cat Dog's recovery. I still think Aang is probably the best, but he definitely took a hit. I could also see Aang being below Leo. I don't see him going any lower than that. As it stands, I still think he's probably the best because I think Leo's combo game probably gets hit a little bit by the DI changes. I don't know how Aang's kill setups are impacted, though. That's the big asterisk. Aang can literally go down to, like, here if the kill setups are drastically affected. If you lose all your kill setups as a result of the change, then I don't see any single way that he's, like, the top tier in this game anymore. Because Aang does generally have a hard time killing if you can't have a true link. So if you lose that capability, then you're going to have a problem. So, Michelangelo. A lot of people think Oblina is the most nerfed character in the game. I don't think so. I think Mikey was probably the most nerfed character in the game. Do I think Mikey is better than Cat Dog? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. The problem is, I didn't see enough people actually push the character because it's just it was the same combo over and over and over and over again. And so we have no idea how good he actually was outside of that. He's definitely not like down here, right? I don't think he's down here. My guess is probably got nerfed similarly to Oblina. I think I'd probably view him similarly to Cat Dog at this point, where he just has a bunch of really good tools, but is like kind of a weirdly designed character now. Cheese tier by default? Well, no, cheese tier, like, just because you have cheese doesn't put you in this tier. Oh, you're fucking making a pizza joke. I hate you. Fucking hate chat. Mikey over April? I don't know about that. I think April is overall a better designed character. I don't know that Mike's better than April. I think he definitely got hit hard. I don't think he got hit that hard, though. I don't think he's, like, down here. I don't think he's down here. It's just that you don't have the single most broken combo that's ever existed in a game because you die from center stage from getting grabbed or forward air a single time, literally no matter what kind of DI you do. Thank fucking God. Mike is still A tier. My guess is he has a lot of other things about him that are still really good. His down special is still really good. His recovery is still really good. His edge guarding is still good. And his jab still kills people at like negative 10%. I could see Mikey being like down here pretty easily. Like, I think this is a completely fine placement. Maybe down here, but I doubt it. I don't see Mikey being as bad as these characters. I can see him being bottom of A. But yeah, I guess that's my tier list. Actually pretty evenly distributed. Aang probably lower. Maybe lower than Leo. I could see Leo being better. Good direction. It makes me pretty optimistic for the game going forward. I will admit, a lot of the B and C tier characters I don't know enough about to accurately place them, but I think the general tiers are probably fairly close.